What's up? What's up? What's up, Facebook fam? It is Tuesday, and you know what goes down here on Tuesday. Wife Chat goes down here on Tuesday. And again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. And it is Tuesday, and it has been two Tuesdays since I've hopped on here. I've been traveling and enjoying the summer. You guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Thank you so much for hopping on. Thank you so much for hitting the share button. And again, it has been an amazing summer so far. I pray that your summer has been great as well. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. It is Tuesday, and Wife Chat goes down here on Tuesday. And it's been two Tuesdays since I have been on here. Again, I've been on a vacation and I've been chilling and everything like that. So hello, Paulette. How are you? I appreciate you getting on here. I appreciate you. Good to see you as well. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. And so tonight, this chat actually comes from a military couple all the way in Spain, and they contacted me, and they wanted to really talk to me about, is marriage becoming irrelevant? Is marriage becoming irrelevant? And so I was like, wow, they're over in Spain, and of course they're US, citizens or whatever, but they're stationed over in Spain. So I want to say thank you guys so much for, reaching out to me all the way from Spain, Rota, Spain. And so again, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Make sure that you're hitting the share button, and let me also put in the chat where you guys are viewing this from. And so I wanted to come on here and really talk about, is marriage becoming irrelevant? And as you guys know, I get the opportunity to speak and teach and to coach marriages all over the world. God has really blessed me, not only through that, my BSB conference, and 7 years ago, it seemed like time is flying, I became a sexologist because I really wanted to understand the component of what God created sex really for, and all the different things when it came to that. So a lot of things, again, I go to school because I really want to make this marriage thing work for people. I know that I don't have a magic wand, but I stand for marriage, and I've been married 33 years on July the 20th. And I know what it is to be in an amazing marriage, and I know what it is to be in an absolute horrible marriage. And so, and I know how God can step in and fix it. So, hello, Johanna. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much. So I wanted to get on here and answer this question to this young couple that, of course, the woman wants to get married, and the man does not want to get married. And so they reached out to me all the way from Rota, Spain, asking me, is, marriage really, is it becoming irrelevant? Is it irrelevant in today's time? And it really had me to go do some research, right? Because as we know that marriage is, people are getting divorced, especially after COVID, in record numbers, right? And it's because a lot of times is that, before COVID, we was able to be in our routines and sweep a lot of things under the rug and not really deal with things that were going on in our households, because we had that separation where everybody was going to work. We fell into these routines and we didn't have to deal with things. But when COVID happened, nobody knew. So you was under the same roof and you had to deal with some things that you normally wouldn't deal with. And so then when it came to divorce went through the roof. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Good evening. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for hitting the share thing. So, divorce went through the roof, and I have a good girlfriend that is a divorce attorney. She's like, business is booming for me. And I said, but God's making my business boom as well, because I'm working on the opposite end. I believe that you can have a strong, healthy marriage, where you're both being fulfilled, but it takes work. Just like it takes work to be in a bad situation. It takes work to be in a good situation. And it takes two people understanding and communicating and all of those different kind of things. So tonight I want to talk to you about, is marriage becoming irrelevant? And to me, the answer is absolutely no, right? The thing is that people make marriages, right? People make marriages. And if you don't feel that you are relevant and you don't feel that you can give yourself to another person, that's the reason why statistics is saying that. Because again, Hollywood and the court systems and everything has made it so easy for people to walk away, right? During our grandparents' times and our mother's time, and I'm not saying being in an abusive situation where you're being called out your name and you're being, slapped upside your head and all those kind of things. I don't stand for that. But what I'm saying is when it takes time for two adults to roll up their sleeves and have adult conversations and really be committed to fixing it, and to really be committed to their vows that they said in front of God, and really work out those vows in sickness and in health, and for richer and for poorer, and for all of those kind of things that we say, and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to say that, right? But when things get hard, we roll up our sleeves and say, I don't have to take this and walk away. I say marriage is still relevant. You just have to make it relevant, right? And so again, yeah, you're right, Barbara. Nobody wants to put in the work, right? But we put in the work for those great pictures that we take, on the wedding day. But let me just give you some statistics that was really, really daunting to me. 29% of people polled said that marriage is only relevant to them if they have a child. It's only relevant to them if they have a child, only 29%. That is down 38% since 2013, right? 60% of all 25 to 40-year-olds says that marriage is not important to them as much as being in a committed relationship. 25 to 40-year-olds are saying that marriage, 60% of them saying it's not important as long as they're in a committed relationship. That's what's most important to them, right? 72% of unmarried people think that it's okay to just live together and have sex without being married. 72% of people, right? Just look at what is happening in our society. Just look at what is happening to our family structure with this mindset, right? And I have a son that's 28 and I have a son that's 19, and I'm raising two girls that are 11 and 12, right? And with our children, most of my children grew up in a household with two parents, and everybody that we associated with had two parents that was married. Nobody was living together and those kind of things. But when I talk to my boys, being married to them is not one of their number one priorities, even though they were surrounded by that. So my thing is it has to be a generational thing. And the couple that I spoke to over in Spain, he was 33 and she was 34. And of course, she wanted to be married. And his thing was, we're in a committed relationship. It's not that serious. And that's what sparked this wife tat. And so when I look at marriage and I'm able to coach people who have been married 15, 20 years, ready to throw in the towel, it is ringing not only with this younger generation, it is beginning to ring true with the older people, because again, now women are making their own money. They're working outside of the homes. We have more opportunities. We have more say, all of those different kind of things. And to me, it is literally allowing us to think marriage and put marriage on the back burner. And I was talking to one of my really good friends who's also as a colleague and does a lot of work with marriage. And she was saying that more women that she is coaching is more interested in starting businesses and investing in businesses than investing in fixing their marriages. And their husbands are not in agreement with them starting these businesses, but they would rather spend their money in creating a business for themselves than creating their marriage to be healthy and strong, right? And like I said, as I dive into that, and I'm on the opposite end, I am doing work every single day and praying and interceding and coaching people to be stronger and healthier in their marriages, right? And so it becomes this dynamic where the younger society is saying, as long as we're committed in a relationship, and if we have a child, only 29% of us want to get married, but as long as we're living together, it's good for the child. We don't have to have those pieces of paper to make it solidify. We don't have to make it a covenant. We don't have to say, to death do us part. We're good. And I totally disagree with that, right? People want an easy way out. Absolutely, they do. Paula, they do want to, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? That is true. All of those additives are really, really true. And it just breaks my heart. But I want to give the people who are listening reasons why marriage is still important and why marriage is still relevant. The first thing is that our God, if you are a person that believes in God, his Bible, his word to us begins with a marriage and it ends with a marriage, right? So and all throughout the Bible, God wants us to be married and wants us to be in covenant with him. So it's important to him. That was the reason why he created it, right? That we two people will become one flesh, right? With him in the center as a three-stranded cord that is unbreakable. And so for me, that is the biggest thing. When Gail and I was on the brink twice, right? We had to go back to the vows that we cut, not our personal feelings, not what was going on, but what we said in front of God, right? And our relationship with God was so important, right? And at the time, Gil was the more stronger one in his faith than I was, but I did have a relationship with God, and I did not want to grieve God because my relationship with God is the most important thing, walking, talking, anything on this planet, right? And so for me, I did not want to grieve God. And so if you have any type of faith, and again, I'm not saying stay in an abusive relationship where you being hit upside your head and called out your name and all those different kind of things, because that's not the will of God for your life either. And he gives you a way out of that in in his covenant as well. But what I'm saying is, if he's just not making you happy, or somebody then winked at you and made you feel a little bit better or whatever, you can have all of those great things in the confines of your marriage as well. You just have to, I believe in sowing for everything that I want. So that's number one. Number two, marriage gives you the legal right to your spouse and their assets. When you're living with somebody, right, and creating this facade that you married, you don't have any legal rights or say so when it comes to assets or that person's life or that person's well-being, right? When you're married, you get all of those things that come along with being in a covenant, right? So you have the right to say, I have rights to this house. I have rights to make sure that if something happens to you and you become incapacitated, I can speak on your behalf. All of those things come when you are in a marriage, not just living under the same roof, right? And I know I'm going to get some people to say, well, would me and my partner have this and this and this and this, that's still not a marriage. So don't come for me because I didn't send for you. When you are in a covenant marriage, that's when all of those things come to you. Number three, to me, marriage strengthens communities and strengthens the family. When you have a husband and wife that is working and raising children, you strengthen the family and you strengthen the community, right? because nowadays it is so many communities and so many households that are not being strengthened and covered because people are living out of order. It's like, you're right, why buy the cow when you could get the milk for free? It's true. Stop living that way and own yourself and say, I'm worth more, right? I'm not living with you. If I'm good enough to live with you, I'm good enough for you to marry me. Because again, you are worth it, right? And just living with somebody is not good enough. Because if they feel that you're good enough to live with them, why you're not good enough to marry them? That is the question. And why don't you have enough self-worth to say, I'm not living with you. If I'm good enough for you to want to live with, then I'm good enough for you to make me your wife or your husband. That is very, very simple to me. Hello, Kelly. Hello, everybody. How are you guys? Everybody, how you doing? Hi, how you doing, Andrea? Hi, everybody. Thank you guys so much for getting on here. And again, I'm talking about, has marriage become irrelevant? And the answer to me is absolutely no, because God's covenant has not become irrelevant. And I want people to really understand that God's covenant has not become irrelevant. People are making marriage irrelevant because they want to satisfy the flesh. And number 4, God is still in control over everything. And the thing is that the more we stray away from his covenant and how he has designed our lives to be, the more downfall this society is going to have. That's the reason why you have so many children that are being raised in single households, because there was no commitment there. There was no covering there. There was no father to say, no, we're going to go this way. There was no staying power there. And for me, the thing is that I wanted I grew up in a single family home, right? My mom did an amazing job with us. But again, I wanted my children to have a father in their life that was consistent, that loved them, that showed them order and showed them how to treat a woman in a household. I was the one that was out of order. I was the one trying to be the man and to run things and to do all those different kind of things. And if you guys have followed me, I have been very open and honest with my story. But at the end of the day, the family structure is at hand. So to me, marriage is never going to become irrelevant as long as God is on the throne and as long as he continues to allow us to have this covenant with him. And so my prayer is that military couple that's over in Rota, Spain, that, she does not live with him, that she does not have a baby with him and try to create this false family, right? And yes, they can be a family technically, but my thoughts, my thing to her was, you are worth more, and that if he wants you, he will make you his wife. And I told him that being married is not irrelevant, and just because you're young does not mean that your life has to stop because you get married. I got married at 21. Gil was with 22. We live a fulfilling life, right? Was it hard? Yes, because we was not prepared for marriage, right? But again, it is so many resources out there. If you're not sure what direction you need to go, what do you need to have in place before you say, I do, right? There is so many resources out there, right? And my thoughts is, if you're in a marriage now and you're thinking, oh my God, I want to throw in the towel, or, I could do better all by myself or whatever, I really want you to weigh the consequences. I really want you to think about, what can I do and how can I change things to make things better in the covenant that I cut, because marriage is not irrelevant. It's very relevant. And so my prayer is that this helps someone and that you guys got something out of this teaching. I truly appreciate you guys hopping on. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate all your comments. I love you guys to pieces. I'm here every single Tuesday. Like I said, I took two Tuesdays off because I needed to be on vacation and I needed to get myself together because, a lot of times when you're pouring out, you got to sit back and allow God to pour back into you. And so, again, I appreciate you guys. I have some workshops and stuff coming up, and I'll be talking to you guys about those things. I'm preparing for bringing sexy back to the marriage 2022. I know you're like, oh my God, that's a long way away, but it's not. I'm not going to have as many people register as I normally do because of, I'm going to make sure that we're able to social distance and stuff like that. So when I start putting out that, make sure that you're going to register and register early. If you need me, you guys know how to get in contact with me. You can DM me. You can visit my website, gailcrowder.com. There's tons and tons of resources on there. Again, I'm on here on Tuesday. I'm also live on TikTok 2:30 on Wednesdays now. So you can ask me any questions on there. And then also I do Wife Life with Dr. Gail on my YouTube channel on Thursday. So you guys can hit me up and see any of my videos and stuff like that. But if you need to talk to me, make sure you go visit my website. I do a free 15-minute consultation. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to help you go to the next level in your marriage. I love you guys to pieces. If you need me, you know how to get in contact with me. Have an amazing, amazing night.